need those powers to catch a Rilu and bring her to Threshold. Surely you don't think she'll willingly fall into your hands, and the demonic hordes will politely make way for you. And secondly, the powers Aurilu gave you protect you from dying before your time. None of us want the wound to kill you prematurely.
Red RH7, thank you for the Prime sub.
You are extremely useful to me alive. After all, if you let Aurilu slip through your fingers, we can always go back to the original plan for closing the wound.
Great, I'm the backup key. Aurilu deliberately led us to the idea she was a key too. Why?
Apparently, she understood that her secret was about to be revealed anyway.
I don't buy that.
So she decided to leave in style.
Nope.
What human female over 100 years old wouldn't feel flattered at being the center of attention?
That is not how it went down.
Although she could have other reasons. She obviously wanted us to understand everything and immediately rush off in pursuit of her. She's probably been preparing for a war of all against all for a long time. And now she wants to wage it on her own terms. Expect treachery and traps wherever you go.
Aren't you afraid to stand in the presence of a goddess?
Tut tut, how rude. I wouldn't say the girl is that hideous.
Sorry,
I
Omade.
admit her face is far from perfect. Her body too, to be honest. But all in all, not bad. I've seen worse.
Gosh, she just kept going.
Your theatrics are too transparent to offend me, demon. At least, they can hardly offend me more than the very fact of your existence.
Jesus. Do you really plan to use me to become a goddess yourself?
That is nothing but the wild speculation of a little girl who gained celestial power through no merit of her own and now fears that others may do the same, forcing her to share her place in the spotlight. Do I want to become a goddess? Of course I do. Who wouldn't? Can you help me with that? Sadly, no. Of course, Aurilu used to blather on about how her brilliant invention could bake gods like pies. But between you and me, the cleverer the inventor, the larger their ego becomes. So far, she hasn't managed to create anything stronger than you. And no offense, but you're no match for any deity.
Hey. I got Baphomet down to 90% health while he was bugged out and not fighting back. Thank you very much. I have no more questions.
Very well. It's time for you to make your decision then.
I want to ask my companions for advice. What do you all think about this?
After I rejected my demonic past, I lost some of my previous abilities. It was difficult, but I coped with it. You are stronger than me, so there's no way that you won't get through this. Cast off the power of the Abyss and follow your own path.
I'm a member of the Order of the God Claw, and I cannot disregard the opinions stated by one of the 5 deities whose virtues we extol. However, I also cannot support it unconditionally. Your power is a useful tool. Its nature is solid, and it tends to yield effective results. To reject such a tool for the sake of an abstract ideal would be highly unwise. Retain this power and use it to bring the criminal Aurilu Vorlesh to justice and to rid this world of its greatest scourge. Such an outcome would represent a grand triumph of order over chaos.
I love Regil as a character because he's a realist, right? Like, you know, he's like, yeah, you know, I do believe in this, and, you know, that is my god right there. But this thing is getting things done. Like, he's a realist. He's just like, let's look at the facts. Oh, by the way, Iomade, I'll see you on Sunday. Yeah, I'll bring the crackers. Yeah, like, wow, right in front of her.
You're halfway to becoming worse than Baphomet and Discari combined. Reject this demonic crap, no matter how much power it gives you. Iomade herself has offered you her help and a chance to redeem yourself. Don't squander it.
Redeem myself.
Because you'll never have another chance like this. That's it. No way back.
After all you've done, I am not even sure that you still have a chance for redemption.
What?
But if even a grain of humanity still remains in you,
What?
please do as the goddess says.
So Seal has never said anything negative about me ever. This is coming out of nowhere. What in the muck? Oh, hold on a sec. No, yeah, I'm trying. Redeem should be off. Redeem should be off.
Someone pinch me. We are standing in the presence of the most pompous goddess in the world, debating whether we should listen to her or send her packing along with her invaluable opinions. I shall remember this moment for the rest of my life. Even as I stand in Pharasma's court, I shall tell this story to anyone who will listen. As for your original question, I have no idea what you should decide. Do as your heart tells you, or just flip a coin.
Your powers are interesting from a theoretical point of view. You are an experiment started by Arilu Vorlesh, and terminating it before it is complete would be foolish, not to mention impolite.
Impolite. It would be impolite. I've made my decision.
I am waiting for your answer. I hope you will choose wisely.
Quite right. Make your choice, and make it the right one.
I didn't expect that to happen in this moment. Choose Mythic Path. Choose which path you're going to follow. This choice will greatly affect the following events. However, no matter what reasons you're choosing for your paths are, be it powers or aesthetic preferences, remember there are no wrong choices. Demon and Angel are now walled off. Gold Dragon gives me red eyes and brown skin. Now, chat, I am going Lich. I am telling you that right now. I've been working for that this whole freaking game. These two things just showed up out of nowhere. But we can take a looky-loo, okay? We're taking a looky-loo. The Gold Dragon is a mighty, almost omnipotent creature that possesses powers beyond all others. The dragon is the embodiment of goodness, hope, and redemption. You get a breath weapon. You can and a holy energy cone, hitting all enemies in 50 feet. Enemies of Gold Dragon form, you can assume the form of a dragon, giving you plus 10 size to strength, bonus to strength, plus 8 to con, plus 8 natural armor, blind sense. You get a bite, 2 claws, 2 wing attacks, and a tail slap. I'm sorry, 1 bite, 2 claws, 2 wing attacks, and a tail slap? Okay. The Gold Dragon gains immunity to poison, disease, fear, confusion, paralysis, and sleep. He also gains resistance to all energies equal to his character level plus half his mythic rank. If any of your saving throw bonuses before modifiers is less than 5 plus your mythic rank, you gain a bonus up to that number. If any of your attributes before modifiers is less than 14, you gain a bonus up to that number. All your hit dice are now d12. Any spells dealing damage. Okay, so basically in every way, shape, and form, you become a lot stronger. Alright, Legend. Which still has me gray. One doesn't need to be a mythic creature, an otherworldly being, or a deity's chosen to become a hero. This path may be grueling and full of temptation, but the mortal who treads it fully earns the right to call themselves a true legend. Aww. Yeah, no, burn in hell. Lich. Lich. The ultimate ruler of undeath. The Lich is a being who has transcended the narrow confines of life itself. Powerful beyond imagining, the Lich can create limitless hordes of undead to remake the world to fit their visions. And there's 5 more things I haven't seen. What do I know? Let's see. There's Swarm. There's Eon, which is the law thing. There was the Trickster thing. Azada. I don't even know how to start Azada, and something else. I don't know what the thing is. Demon? No, Demon's right there. Devil? Okay. I must have missed the thing for Devil. All right. Lich. Mythic feat. Let's see. We definitely need to restart or turn the camera when this finishes. Mythic resolve. Extra mythic ability. Ascendant summons. Let's do Ascendant Summons. I've been using summoning to kill a lot of big stuff lately. Skeleton upgrade? Give your skeleton Magus abilities, such as Arcane Pool, Spell Combat, and minor Magus spells. Skeletal Inquisitor. The skeleton champion gets Inquisitor's Judgment twice per day, Bane, and Teamwork feat. Skeletal Fighter gets an additional bonus combat feat, armor training, weapon training, and his base attack bonus equals 3. Can channel negative energy using hit dice instead of cleric class for calculations. And all spells from the cleric list. Wow. Barbarian. And 2 rage fire. So right now, my skeleton is an archer with bard songs. He's in the back. So I'm thinking fighter for more bow feats or something? I don't really need more channels. Blinding critical. Whenever you score a critical, they're blinded. Cluster shots. Deadly aim. That's like power attack. Dude, he gets access to so much. Clusters is good. Point Blank Master. Point Blank Shot. He doesn't have Point Blank Shot? +1 to attack and damage rolls in range. Let's go for that. That's just good in all things. Skeletal Fighter. You get an additional weapon training. Search for the word bow. What does this, what does this do? Does this get, he can already use a longbow. Does this give him like +1 to longbow? I mean, I think he already has these unlocked, so this might be a useless or a bonus. And if it's a bonus, I want longbow. 10 new spells. Dude, Domain of Hungry Flesh. What the heck? You create a terrible abomination in the area that attacks everything inside, trying to trip, dealing 2d6 caster level damage, entangling and doing more damage to a random physical ability score for 1 round per level. Ugh. Embrace of Death. Surround the target with necromantic energies, embracing it with the power of unlife. If the target fails a will throw, they fall into a coma and start taking con damage every round. Wow. Unholy Aura. All allies within a 20-foot burst. A malevolent darkness surrounds the subjects, protecting them from attacks, granting them resistance to spells created by good creatures, and weakening good creatures when they strike the subjects. Death Clutch. Chant an unholy litany. You reach out with a grasping motion toward your target and cause its heart to leap out of its chest and into your hand. A target with 200 or fewer hit points remaining that fails its saving throw is instantly killed. A target with 201 or more hit points that fails its saving throw manages to keep its heart from leaping out of its chest, but is still staggered for 1 minute and takes 1d4 points of Constitution drain and points of Con bleed. Regardless of its current hit point, oh my god, there's so much. Regardless of its current hit points, if the target succeeds its fourth throw, it is still staggered for 1 round as it feels its heart wrenching in its chest. That's a lot of weird stuff. Soul Reaver. This potent death spell does 1d6 points of damage per caster level to living creatures in the area of effect. Up to 20d6. Fortitude is half. So even if they make the save, this does up to 10d6 to everyone in the area. Polar Ray, Horde Wilting, Bestow Curse Greater. Interesting stuff. Okay. I was kind of hoping I was going to be skeletal there, just so you know. Eon Angel, Azada Demon, Trickster, or Dragon are blocked. Requires Lich. Oh, dude, I have to be a jerk about it? This is not the kind of Lich I want to be. Let's commit. The bones of the dead tremble in their graves. Skulls whisper my name. Don't ask me to become mortal again, for I have stepped far beyond the limits of death.
Your pride will destroy you, and perhaps all of Golarion with you. But I shall not intervene now, so as to avoid causing even more suffering to this world. Farewell.
I want to be a Lich, but I don't like some of the lines.
You gave us hope. Did you really do it, only to crush it with your own hands?
So, Seal, it's like, what? Where is this coming from?
Heaven be my witness. I've followed you for a long time, and I sincerely believed that even though you made some morally questionable choices, you could save the world from the abyss. Well, maybe you will save everyone after all, but I won't be a part of it.
Leave your gear on the
Because
way
I can't
out.
tell what's worse for this poor land. Being invaded by demons, or being ruled by a necromancer tyrant!
Yeah, leave the shield specifically. I'm gonna need that.
It would have been so foolish for you to reject your powers. So many victories, so many achievements lie ahead for you. Well, go now. Capture Arilu, and prove which of you is making the best use of her invention. I'll be watching you.
Oh, she blew a smooch. She blows a kiss and disappears. The commander once again has revealed a miracle to the Crusaders, but not all miracles bestow hope. Can we cheese and make an insane multi-class tank? Yeah. Anivia's wavering, anxious voice seems grotesquely out of place. She speaks, shamelessly breaking the tranquility and remarkable hush that remains in the city. Well, that's it, Commander. We're all dead, or we soon will be. This ain't our crusade anymore. It's just yours. Wait, what? I just wanted to recycle. Are you out there actively killing our dudes? It's good that Erebeth went with the Queen. She doesn't need to know that what your dead did to the folks that survived the attack. What? If fate brings the two of us together again, I'll tell her that they were as good as dead anyway, even before you came. Her voice sounds hollow. I did what was necessary. You understand that, don't you, Anivia? Like me understanding makes any difference. Don't act like you care what I think. All you need are silent puppets, and no doubt I'll be one of them soon. But just wait for me to die in battle first, bring me back into the ranks, and send me out again to keep on fighting, this time without any doubts to hold me back. Yeah, so apparently, like, I just wanted to use all the corpses in the city and use them to defeat the demons, and it did. That totally happened. But then my undead started killing all the people. I wasn't expecting that. I truly was not expecting that. I thought I could just be... Because you could be a Lich if you're neutral. You don't have to be evil to be a Lich. You could be a Lich as neutral, and that's what I was doing. And then everything went psycho. The voice lines are like more and more evil at this point. We must act before the enemy destroys all I have achieved. A muscle twitches in her cheek. Yeah, you're a master at resurrecting things from wreck and ruin. Where do we start? Plundering a couple graveyards? Killing an innocent? I'm sick of sanctimony. Just tell me what you want and I'll do it. An entire army of demons enhanced by Nahandrian crystals was being sent here. It's being led by a demon named Mutasifin. Do you know anything about that? Scouts reported the movements of a large demon army far to the southwest of Dresden. They were marching across a dried-out lake. There used to be a Sarkorian holy place there, I heard, but when they went, nobody knows. They're not headed for us, that's for sure, at least not yet. As you heard, I have to catch Arilu. Any idea where I should look for her? Not especially. She's been roaming the Abyss all this time, but now that avenue's closed to her, Nocticula and the other demon lords are all slavering for a piece of her. I think she's somewhat place around here in the Wound, some nasty place like Iz, or maybe she went as far as Threshold. How do you feel after seeing the goddess in the flesh? My ears are still ringing from the trumpets. After witnessing that sight, I don't think I could be surprised by anything ever again. So, everyone actually heard the trumpet noise. What's the situation at the front? Unknown. Her Majesty mustered all the troops she could, raised the Sword of Valor, and advanced on the demons. There's been no word from her since she left. Perhaps she's boldly taking Iz even now. Maybe her bones have already been picked clean by demons. We don't know. And I doubt anybody except you will be able to find out. But that's not all. Baphomet's minions keep taking swipes at us. The scumbags are holed up somewhere, the Ivory Labyrinth, I'll bet, and they keep opening portals in different spots, dropping off a dozen units, and closing the portal before we can get to them. We lost more scouts than I'd care to admit before we figured out how they were pulling off that little trick. As a trickster, I made everyone perpetually drunk. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe you could get to one of those portals in time. You could be ready for him somehow, so that when it opens, you get inside and crack some skulls. They might even be holding the poor Herald in there. If he's alive, you could free him. Thank you for the report. I'll be setting off without delay. She sighs heavily and looks at you sadly. You used to be different. What have we become? An army of the dead. It's a mockery of what we once called a crusade, and the scariest part is now it's too late to change tack. We've got no choice but to keep going. Oh, yeah, sorry I'm leading the first successful crusade in 100 years. We'll keep clearing the rubble, we'll pull out new corpses every day, and even more, keep drifting toward your ziggurat from across the region. By the time you come back, there'll be a whole army waiting for you. Regil? Regil looks slightly more tense than usual. Mukluk, I have fairly important news. I will do my best to be brief. The Hell Knight orders have not reacted well to the developments I mentioned in my latest report, specifically regarding the true source of your power. The very notion that we have been cooperating with a weapon forged by a Reaver, Lich, and Nocticula has caused discontent. The orders have not issued any official edicts, but many chapters and high-ranking knights have been recalled from their assignments and barricaded themselves in one of our outposts. The one you know, in fact. I suggest you go there and resolve the issue between the orders and the Crusaders. This is a matter of importance. And what kind of reaction should I expect from the Hell Knights? Any up to and including a formal declaration of war, which is why you must go to the outpost and resolve the issue before it devolves into open conflict. Very well, I will go there as soon as possible. Excellent. That is all I had to report, so I will return to my duties and you may attend to other affairs. Whoa! Leoder Hawkblade. The Inquisitor appears calm and dignified, but the gaze he turns on you is anything but friendly. Good day to you, Commander. I suppose you've already guessed what brought me here. We parted ways after the discovery we made at Count Arende's estate. You and I both know that the Count became a conduit for an unknown entity which I call the Other. I retreated to Nerosian and then went beyond Mendev's borders, looking for mentions of such entities and ways to fight them. And now that my search has borne fruit, I am ready to tell you about it. What have you learned? I must be honest, I still don't know what it is. However, I managed to find some evidence of similar incidents, individuals who, in a horrible moment in their life, became a gateway for an unknown entity. The most curious part is that all these cases all appear almost sequential. They happened in various corners of Golarion, but no two incidents ever occurred at the same time, so it's probably the same demon. This leads me to think that we are dealing with a single entity. I just said that. One that has been secretly present in our world for a long time, merely changing its gateways on occasion. While I do not know what this entity is, I managed to find something of great value. A Varisian arcanist managed to pick up the trail of the Other and invented a ritual to weaken and bind it. She died under very suspicious circumstances. Her decapitated body was found in her laboratory. Her head was never found. But her notes survived, including the description of the ritual. I have discussed it with several highly esteemed experts in magic, and I'm inclined to consider this as a reliable weapon. We can use the ritual to lure the entity out, bind it, and probably exterminate it, but to do that I need your assistance, Commander. What do we need to do? We must carefully prepare the ritual and then bring Count Arende to the designated location. The ritual will lure out the Other, weaken its connection to the Count, and bind its essence to our world like an anchor. The last part is especially important. All the evidence indicates that while the gateway is active, the Other can travel freely between the material plane and some unknown space that lies beyond. If we fail to bind the Other with the ritual, it will either escape or in the worst case scenario, drag us into its realm. Hence we must lure it out and then I suppose defeat it. There is one more issue. Aside from the fact that we'll have to fight this incredibly powerful and horrifying creature, the other suspicion must not be aroused until the very last moment, and this means that the Count must know nothing as well. The best course of action would be to take the Count to the designated location without telling him the reason for the journey. Then we must frighten him and make it appear that his life is in danger. The other will believe that its gateway is in peril, and then I hope it will show up to protect it. The ritual circle will work as a trap, but it is crucial, and I stress this, that we convince the entity that we know nothing of its existence, that it is Darren who is in danger, not the entity itself. Otherwise, there is no knowing what may happen, and I don't want to give the adversary any chance to outmaneuver us. Dude, we're gonna have to be super, like, I feel like it's gonna make us act like we're about to murder Darren and scare the crap out of him. Why do you think the other will appear to protect Darren? The Count has been in danger many times before, and nothing special ever happened. You have a special connection with your companions, Commander. You share part of your mythic powers with them. They journey through the abyss with you and survive to tell the tale. I believe the other understands this. It also must understand how dangerous it would be if you were to, it would be if you were to become not a benefactor, but an enemy to its gateway. I am certain it will react as a threat coming from you, as opposed to ordinary encounters with demons and cultists. How dangerous is it? Extremely dangerous, which is why I've come to you with this. All the evidence I've collected on the other, in particular the list of its victims, which include powerful demons and strong mortal mages, make me certain we are dealing with something extraordinary here. It is stronger and more dangerous than Baelor's and other generals of the Abyss. I also suspect that the oracle powers the Count has developed come from the other. As a rule, only gods, imperial lords, and other extremely powerful beings are capable of granting such abilities. I know no one except for you who could challenge such an entity, so I am asking for your help for the safety of all who dwell in Golarion. However, I believe we can shore up on our strategic position if the other doesn't suspect we're preparing a trap until the very last moment. Even the most dangerous of creatures becomes more vulnerable when caught off guard. The main thing we must do is take a methodical approach and stay alert. I think that is within our abilities. Are you sure it's hostile toward us? All this time, it's never tried to attack me. I'm certain that this entity is dark and truly evil. The evidence and my instincts as an Inquisitor are undeniable. Whenever the other manifests itself, strange and ominous things begin to happen. In particular, I am positive that it is responsible for all the magically decapitated corpses, the ones that were found at Heaven's Edge after the tragedy and in Kenabris after Discari's attacks. In both places, some of the corpses belonged to civilians and others to demons, and in Kenabris, some of the victims were cultists. I'm convinced the other is pursuing some interest of its own, and thus far it has ruthlessly exterminated any who learned of its existence. And now you and I know it exists. Draw your own conclusions. Alright, I'll help. Thank you. Let's go over the entire operation once more. I'm convinced that we must lure out the other somewhere far from Dresden and other populated places to avoid civilian casualties. I've chosen a suitable location within the world wound. I'll mark it on your map. You must bring the Count there without alerting him to what's about to happen. I assume that another foray into the world wound will hardly raise his suspicions. I will await you there with the ritual circle prepared, but before we reach the critical moment, you must make the Count and the other believe the Count is in danger. I suppose the easiest way to do that would be to tell him you made a deal with the Mendev Inquisition, and the Count will have to face punishment for his crimes, real or imaginary. I'll find a way to intimidate him, but you must play along. We need to provoke the other to come out to protect its gateway. That's when we finish it off once and for all. I feel like even if we're successful, he's gonna, like, feel betrayed. I worry that our cleric is going to feel betrayed and ditch us forever. But I just lost 2 other important people, so... This case will be my greatest triumph or my greatest failure, but I firmly believe that it must be done. Remember my words. The other must be convinced that we are not a threat to the Count, that we know nothing of its existence. The slightest suspicion could prove fatal for us. Until we meet again, Commander, and may the gods be with us. Lathamus. A pale, ghostly image appears before you. You recognize Lathamus the Antiquarian, the scholar you helped some time ago. His translucent form flickers intermittently, and you have difficulty making out his words. Commander, I won't maintain spell for long. Open the door. Treasure room. Please hurry. On my way. I'll be waiting. Please. Her. Her. I know what that's about. Captain Harmattan. Commander, permission to report. He looks worried. The army's disposition is growing dangerous. More and more soldiers express their distrust towards you and your mythical powers. They grumble in their lack of understanding of where you are leading them and what your plan is. What's worse, the wary have once again emerged among the officers. They are adding fuel to the fires of sedition, and we've already had cases of direct insubordination. You have to win back the trust of the soldiers forthwith, or else the army will be paralyzed. Some privates are already refusing to march into battle. I suggest we make your strategy clear by setting up a bulletin board. It could have a new statement with your name on it every week. Every 2 weeks, you could invite delegates from your soldiers to ask any questions they may have. Soldiers have the right to ask the general questions, but they have no right to disobey orders simply because their curiosity isn't being satisfied. They are committing sabotage, and the penalty for sabotage is a court-martial. We'll build new taverns for our soldiers and pour them free beer on the commander's behalf. That's the easiest way to win their love. Let's see. Gallows decrease the chance to skip action turn to negative combat morale by 3%. Only one gallows can be built in each fort. Oh my god. Tavern reduces all morale effects in combat by 10%. Reduces. Bulletin board provides all units with +2 bonus to the chance to act twice due to positive morale and -2% bonus chance to skip action due to negative morale.